Camera rolling. Action.
Welcome to the behind the scenes of our movie, which doesn't have a working title yet. It's a noir-inspired tale, noir-inspired both concerning the narrative and the lighting of the scenes. And a noir-based narrative means pretty much that it's all about this one guy and his passion, his passionate pursuit of getting this woman. In the story, we only have 3 characters, while actually only one of them is ever shown. Pretty much the 3 characters that we have the main character, who who we're going to describe as pretty much just the man. Then we have his love interest, who is the woman, and then we have the
bad guy,
the bad guy, the villain. 4 overall scenes, and as for the editing style, we aim to do as long takes as possible, but that will depend on what we'll be able to do, because we still haven't found the locations. And he's received a ransom letter, including a severed finger, which is wearing a red nail polish, which he then identifies, which we then is able to identify with the finger of his girlfriend, because he also looks at a photograph of her.
So basically what the ransom note, it's not exactly a ransom note because he doesn't actually want money, but our antagonist, our evil guy, wants our protagonist to kill somebody in order to have his girlfriend back.
The next scene is him walking outside. Maybe we'll have it outside if we are able to find a place where we can shoot with some good practical lights. Either that, or maybe we'll find a way to do it inside, or maybe just to use some extender cables and do it right outside the building or something. We'll have to figure that out. This scene is pretty much just him walking from the first scene to the third scene where the whole deed is going to take place. But in this scene, we just have him. He reads another part of the ransom note, and he looks at his clock to just be sure that he gets there on time. So this is a pretty short scene. The killing thing is it's revealed in the third scene, where he reads the final part of maybe not the final part but he reads the part that says that he'll find a little present in one of the boxes in this abandoned building which he's gotten to. And the building, it's got some boxes around. He walks around. He finds this knife which has a green hilt, again to symbolize the villain of the movie. And also we have some lighting coming. We are going to illustrate some lighting coming from the outside, shining in on the floor, on the wall, pretty much so that we can reveal a person walking in front of the light, so we can see when the victim of the deed is going to arrive, just to not show them directly and not do as much camera, not to move the camera around too much. Fourth scene, which is again an outdoor shot of him walking to the place where he's supposed to meet the woman who has then been released because he did the dirty deed. And he walks around still holding the green hilted knife and with red blood on his hands. So he walks to this point where he's to meet the woman, but as he sees her, he stops up and reflects upon what he's done. He looks at the knife. He looks at the blood on his hands, and
he realizes
that he pretty much gave into the devil and the blood, and says he pretty much has made himself unredeemable. He doesn't deserve the
love and
happiness. He doesn't deserve this. So he pretty much he decides to turn around and walk away.
We are currently in the progress of setting up for the third scene. The first scene that are going to be shot, we are supposed to shoot somewhere over here and have lighting set up somewhere around here. Well, we didn't have a gobo in the light kit, so this is our homemade gobo. Venetian blind gobo. Current lighting setup, not very visible on this camera. One light, key lights from lighting from the right towards the scene, and a improvised gobo. Venetian blinds, lighting the right part of the scene as partially a story element and partially to fill up the right part of the scene. Camera is shooting from over here, this way, with approximately this cutting. It's coming from the real light, which is you usually have your light above your mirror. So in order to make it look like it's that way, well, we'll just fire the light on the ceiling to give some diffuse indirect lighting downwards, which will pretty much mimic the way a normal bathroom lights.
Shoot from that angle, and we can see we're mainly gonna see him through the mirror and some side of our protagonist's head, so we think it's an interesting shot. Also, we don't really have enough space, so it's basically our only way out. We decided that instead of having it up and hitting down like a normal light, we're just gonna have it in the side wall. It looks more interesting in the camera. So what I'm doing here is trying to shoot the second scene, where our protagonist is walking through his way to the factory and trying to decide, or what's our first attempt to see how it's gonna be shot.
Okay, so there's a good possibility that when it becomes darker, the lights will be more visible. So if you walk in front of him,
yeah, but I think we're gonna have a problem with the in-between shots.
The problem is when he's between here and around here, because then he's lit from the back with virtually no light in front.
Well, that light might be more helpful because it's more.
And it's actually lower, so we're getting much shorter lights from it.
We can have better shots here, I think, but they're really far away from each other.
Yeah, they're very far away, and there's not very much distance to go by.
Well,
do we really need him to?
So we could actually just do it standing, where you're standing
and riding, and then at the end you're just leaving.
And at the end you walk out of the light.
We finally decided to have a steady cam in under this lighting because it's much lower and has a better effect. Because for the outside scenes it will be a lot difficult to have our own lighting because we want to have a power supply. So we decided to use practical lamps from the street, and this specific lamp is low enough to lead our actor really good. And we're gonna have a steady cam, as you can see. We are heading to our last scene location, which is gonna be under the bridge, where our protagonist is supposed to meet his girl. So we need to find a good practical light to shoot.
Bicycle. Shooting on location is hard. Yeah.
Shooting on location is definitely hard.
With a shot of girl's legs, then cut to establishing shots of the bridge.
do we cut to that? Or do you zoom out to that?
I think
we don't have
we can't zoom out.
So
we have to cut to
we have to cut for the establishing. There's no way to zoom in. I mean, if I zoom in, we'll have her body feeling like a quarter of the screen
and more.
So
we just need an extreme close up to the foot.
Extreme close up to really show that it's the shoe, to show the shoes.
So
zoom
we can
out,
see that it's.
Zoom out, get the establishing shot, then pan over, and you comes into the shop. You do your thing, looking at the gun, looking at the ring, taking out the ring, being very distraught, looking at the ring, looking at the gun, sort of weighing them between each other. Then at the end, look up, look towards her, and then put down the ring, and just put it down in the middle of the and then pick up the gun and walk away.